Hello guys. Welcome to our channels, Fred Fan TV. My name is Fan.
And my name is Fred.
And thank you for viewing our channel. Today we will do the part 2 topic. And this is the part 2 topic that what you need to know about Filipino woman from Philippines. This is the part 2, guys.
Yeah, part 2 of what does American man need to know when dating a Filipino woman from the Philippines. And I'll let you know something, fellas. There's a difference between one of the viewers asked a question, why go to the Philippines to find a wife and there's Filipino women in the U.S., which is a good question. Well, I can say this, that a woman, having a Filipino wife isn't just having a race of people, but it's a culture of the person, the way she was raised and the way she was taught. And if there's a Filipino woman that was raised here in the United States, she's already American. Her belief system is the same as the American women here. And if you want a woman that has had different upbringing than the women in the U.S., then you need to go to the Philippines and experience those women that's actually been raised in that culture.
Yes, you are right, sweetheart. So the best thing is, my suggestion is nice. You just find a woman that's from Philippines that been raised in the Philippines, because guess what? You know, I'm not judging. I'm just transparent here, guys, that why we suggest this, because it's more exciting in the Philippines, that they already learn that they never engage American cultures. The Filipina here that already live longer in US, they already engage a US citizen, the way the American lifestyles. So the Filipino that you've been picking in the Philippines, that they've been there, live for their life, is different culture, sweetheart. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's different cultures. So the part of the cultures is be different. It doesn't mean she is a Filipino to live here in US and she is Filipino to live in the Philippines, is have between a different cultures for that, guys. So we can compare that. So the cultures of the Filipino there in the Philippines, the way they engage is pure-blooded Filipino, and the culture the cultures of American that they already Filipino longer here in the States is they already American lifestyle. So that's the big difference.
And listen, that is a big difference, because I have met some Filipino women that have been raised in the United States, and there was no difference between them and another ethnic background that was raised in the U.S. So the women in the Philippines, that's homegrown. If you want the women that's different than the women in the U.S., then you go to the Philippines or get on the dating site. That's one of the things you got to do. You know, you got to meet them first, and I met my wife on a dating site, and that's how we got started. But as we move forward, we just found so many things that wasn't expected, that we learned as we went, And one of the things that I brought out last time was that, you got to have some money. You got to be willing to spend some money on the women, because the people there are poor and they need help. And if you say that woman is your woman, then you need to show her you her woman, because guess what? She's looking for that. She's looking for you to take care of her. That's every woman in the Philippines dream. That's a lottery. They dream of coming to the U.S. or marrying an American man, or a man from another place.
Sweetheart, I have a question for you. So can you explain to them that what is the cultures different for for the Filipino woman be in the United States and the Filipino woman in the Philippines. So we need to clarify that and enable to them to understand. So, okay, well, I'm gonna explain that a Filipino woman that been in the Philippines cultures is they're really like me. I'm from the province, so we growing up some gardening like vegetables, and then we going, some of them doing fishing in the ocean, and then some of them just a Filipino lifestyle, like, just farming, doing garden for living, because that's where I came from, guys. I'll be true over here, and I'm transparent too. And then, guys, the Filipino woman there is the work for living, the work for the work for living, just to live and eat, not the work for having a good, mostly that the Filipino woman there, guys, is working. They
just for food.
Just for food. I'm sorry, but not everybody woman that working for food, but mostly where I came from, they working for food and they living for help. They try to be the breadwinner of the family.
Yeah.
So that's the Filipino woman there in the Philippines is very sincere. It come up with their family, because we make sure that 3 times a day we can eat. So here in United States, I've been seeing, I'm not expert, but I'm just what I observe is the Filipino woman that they already live or born over here in the Philippines. In the America, they already have American lifestyle. They don't need to go wake up in the morning and go hauling water. They don't need to wake up in the morning that they need to go to their garden and pick some vegetables and to eat their breakfast. They don't need to go to the garden and pulling weed 6 a.m. in the morning until 12 noon. They stop work, especially that they live in the mountain province. People there where I came from, that's their job mostly. And some of them just do fishing. Sometimes they wake up in the morning just to go fishing and come back home zero. Nothing. So the wife or the kids be in the mountain too. They have to work for food too. Planting and then harvesting some vegetable for their food, because in case the husband, they don't have any fish that they get from the ocean, at least they have food to eat, meal for the day. So that's the difference. But in the U.S., guys, you have everything. The Filipino woman here live in the U.S. is already good. They don't have to worry about food. They don't have to worry what kind of what's this? What kind of how I can say that? They don't have to worry about that. Hey, what's the next day we should eat? Because here in U.S. is have a lot of opportunity. So in the woman here in America is just like American woman. They don't need to worry about for living or for food, because they get everything. They get nice house to live and they have food to cook. In the Philippines, guys, if we don't work and we don't wake up early, we don't eat. So that's the different culture there, because mostly the hardworking there in the Philippines is a woman. But I don't say all of the woman, but mostly, because we have, to be honest, guys, they have many single parents in the Philippines.
Yeah, and let me get in. I've experienced that. I saw that, and I'm not talking bad or degrading a Filipino man, but they are very unresponsible. They're not faithful to their wives. Most of them. They have, one of the reasons is the ratio of men and women in the Philippines is so different. It's so many women to every man there. A lot of those men, they hit and run just for fun. They get with this woman and stay with her till she gets pregnant, and then he's gone to another place, and now he's go find him another woman, because it's something about they want virgins, and that's a big thing in the Philippines. The men want virgin women. And so once she's not a virgin no more, he leaves most of the time, especially if she gets pregnant, because he don't want the responsibility of a child. And one of the reasons ain't no jobs, and so he can't, he ain't got no work. So I mean, what my wife is saying is that a woman in the Philippines, from what I saw, they are the breadwinners. They are the ones who take care of the men. And that's just the opposite of the U.S. because the man has been always been the breadwinner. You marry a productive and wealthy man, and he take care of everything. So society here, we still look at the man, but in the Philippines, it's not so. The society look at the women. When a man have kids and he have a girl, he gets happy. But if he have a boy, he ain't so happy because he know that boy is gonna probably be, not very good, productive for the family.
But guys, my husband talking about not all men is bad and not all men.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not
right.
all men is
not
bad,
all.
but they have some out there is very good son for their mom and for their parents. So we're just talking about that, what we experience and what I've been seeing through my 2 eyes, guys, where I grew up in the Philippines, where I came from, guys. So that's what only I see the real. But we don't generalize all men in Filipino men is bad, but they have some out there is good, responsible, but mostly. So that's why many Filipino woman is looking for foreign also, because they already seeing that if I've been to the foreign, if the foreign is be my husband, they're really responsible. They don't leave me. Just example, the foreign woman we're looking forward is responsible. They are a good, loving husband. So in the Filipino type that I've been experienced in my life, they never show you love, and you don't want to provide what you eat and what is the baby. The baby need milk. You have to work for it, and that's my experience too, guys. And I just share it to you to give you the idea and what is the different culture between the Filipino woman in the Philippines and the Filipino woman in the United States. So we just explains that's what's the difference. But they are all Filipino, but the way they race is different.
Yeah. And see, a man has to be a man wherever he is. Mm-hmm. And in the Philippines, the men just not standing up for the women. That's what I experienced. And I know it's not all men, but I guarantee it's the majority, because I've been there and I saw, how many women are out there working and selling fish and doing this and doing that, feeding, just cooking on the street, selling street food and all that, and selling peanuts and eggs and everything at the bus terminals. But I don't see very many men out there hustling, doing that, So I see in the workforce it's mostly women.
Yes, you're right, sweetheart. And then when my experience, guys, before I meet in my husband, I'm a breadwinner too in my family. I need to work abroad. They call the OFW, Overseas Filipino Worker. I go abroad, girl. I work in the Middle East. And able, I can provide. I have an oldest son that I'm a single mom too. I can provide my son what my son needs. So I have to work across the ocean. I'll be homesick. Sometimes I can use my phone because your madam don't allow you to connect their internet. But the emotion physically is really hurting me. But I have to hold and be strong and able. I can provide my son what my son needs.
Yeah, that's a good point too. That's the culture that I'm talking about right there, because those women sacrifice for the family, and they always mostly pick out one person in the family, and that person is responsible for taking care of the whole family, which I'm totally against. When I met my wife, I told her, and she explained to me the situation, and I went to her place and I saw it for myself. But I told her that you know, I had agreed that I would become her breadwinner, but I told her that I'm not going to feed your whole family because it's not good for a grown man to sit around and I feed him and he's able-bodied to work. It would be different if he couldn't work. Or a sister that can work and just not working. It's things that they can do if they don't do nothing but work in the fields is something to do, you know, or you could be out trying. And so right now, I am, though, feeding the whole family and have been for almost 5 years now. But it's been tough in the Philippines, especially this pandemic hit. A lot of the people are out of work. So she's got a brother and a sister at home right now. And my other son that she mentioned and her mother. So I'm the breadwinner for them, you know, and I don't mind because I know the need is there. And I thank God for using me to bless them because it's actually God doing it. He's just using me to do it. And I'm very thankful to do that. I'm not complaining about it at all. But I would like to see them when the situation gets better for them to start being productive and help take care of their mom and their set of themselves.
Yeah, my husband is telling the truth because he been there in the Philippines and he see everything what's going on. So, baby, this kind of my next questions for you is some our viewers we honor to answer you guys. They said that what kind of love it is if it is all depends on how much money you have. So that's some of the few viewers asking that questions. So
asking
that questions that what kind of love it is if it all depends on how much money you have.
Oh yeah. Well, what my wife is trying to say is that, you know, some of the Filipino women, they looking for a man of a certain status. You know, if he's got a lot of money or a little money or what, you know, and you know, of course they looking for the baller that's got the big bucks, you know, and that wasn't me. I didn't have the big bucks, but I wasn't poor either. I wasn't begging nobody for nothing. And so I was well able to take care of my wife and her family. And but, you know, if you find a woman like that, in my opinion, that she's going for status, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
I don't want a woman that...
He didn't love you, guys.
Yeah,
he didn't love you.
Only wants me because of how much money that I've got, you know, or do I earn.
And I give you example, guys. Me and my husband was chatting each other. I don't ask my husband what his property have. We just chatting normally, and I tell him we work together and ever we prosper. And I tell him I will show you how much I love you, and I will resign my job, and I will go back to the Philippines, and me and you, where we can be together. I resign my job. My job is really my family depending on me because I'm the one who feed them. I'm the one who's sending them money. I'm the breadwinner. So I dedicated my love on him. I risked my job. Guys, I risked my job. I left my job in Jordan where I was working. I left my job because I want to show him how much I love him. And that's the real love right there.
Yeah, and that's true. So, the only thing is that, about that is that my wife, was a real believable person. The reason that, I made a decision to become the breadwinner. And obviously, like I said in the first video, that we knew in 3 days that we was going to be married, and that we loved each other, and we wanted to spend the rest of our lives together. So, but that don't happen all the time, that you find. That's
very rare, guys.
Instant love, yeah.
You have to build up, both of you. You have to learn and like chemistry, love, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And then you have to be compatible each other. You have to be honest and build up the relationship. You have to communicate every day. The communication is very important. How to build your relationship between across the ocean, or you've been together. If you have a real love, it's not hard, guys. It's very easy.
Yeah, that's true, and that's a good point right there, because I can tell you this, that the more serious you are about the situation, the more positive response you'll get for us obtaining a Filipino wife, and building a relationship, because you gotta put in the work. You got to put in the time. It's like anything that you want to be successful. You got to show that you're serious, and you got to put in the work, and you got to put in the money too. Because, like I said, it's been a financial
Investments.
investment. A good word, investment, and that's what I did, because I invested 3.5 years. To before she ever got here, and a lot of men, that's kind of, they not willing to do that.
Guys, trust, faith, and prayer of the Lord. All your will, He will be given to you. If you have trust, strong faith, and believe. And if you really willing to get that girl that badly, you have to trust her. And the girl, you have to, he need to trust you.
Yeah, that's a good point, because without trust, it ain't gonna work, because you 8,000 miles away, and you don't know what she's doing, and she don't know what you're doing. Y'all have to completely be transparent and spend a lot of time together on the phone.
Then talk about what's your relationship, why you're choosing me, why it's not only I like me, but what is your vision towards this relationship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one person, one of the comments was that, how do I know that she didn't come here just for my money, or to get a pass out of the Philippines, a way out of the Philippines, out of poverty? Well, you don't know. You can only have faith and trust that she's going to do what she says she's going to do. And so there's no guarantees, that, everything is going to be, a success story, because all stories are not a success story, not in this life. Nothing is perfect. But I know this is the best decision I made in 17 years before I met her, was going to the Philippines, because now my life has changed. Hey, I'm 61 years old and my wife is 32, but I couldn't dream of having a 32-year-old American wife. She was 27 when I met her, and I was 56, I think.
56.
And so I was 56, she was 27. And I wouldn't dream of having a 27-year-old woman here. But in the Philippines, the girls looking for the older guys, like myself, the more mature and settled guys.
And then responsible.
Yeah, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for responsible.
I'm be real, because I'm the one of it. I'm looking for a man that's responsible and truthful. That I feel that he really value me and love me.
And that's
no matter what.
That's something that they're not able to find in the men there, especially young men. So they're still sowing their wild young oats. They really hitting and run just for fun.
So I have some questions too, sweetheart. So because I have some friends asking that in the Philippines, that why this old Filipino woman, I've been saying, they choosing old men and they are young. They are wondering. They asking me that questions. Why? She's young. Look at her. She's young, but she being the old man. So I answer that too. For me, the woman is very wise because they get tired of it. You having a young man and you the one buy for them drawers, clothes, food, because you're the one responsible. If you choose a young man in the Philippines and they are very lazy and is not responsible, you carry all the burden. You can even sleep nighttime because, oh no, I don't know what I feed to my baby right now. No milk. This milk is the last milk that he been drinking tonight. What I should buy tomorrow. This man come home drunk. And the wife is all the burden. The wife work like a man in the Philippines. She be in the house and she can be outside. The woman there is flexible. If the woman is really a loving family, he love his child, he can risk her life and able to feed that baby. Because the man there is responsible. So I don't talk all men there in the Filipino men is bad, but some of them out there is good. But that's the reality I've been seeing real life.
Yeah. So the question is, the statement she just made is the reason that she chose me, an older gentleman, and a mature gentleman, because I'm not old. I'm still young. I don't know about that old stuff. But anyway, I'm more settled. I've already did the young things that young men do. And the women in the Philippines are very mature in their 20s, especially if they already have a child. They are really settled because now that life is really serious, now that, they got a child and another mouth to feed. So they really, get settled and serious thinking, and can respect and honor older gentlemen and try to make the relationship work. And that's something that's kind of lacking here. Women there have a reason to be faithful and good to you.
And guess
here
what?
In the U.S., they don't. They
baby.
got everything the man got. The women make as much money as the men. They got their own everything. But there, the women don't. And they actually need us, the foreign men. As some help to them in their life to relieve the burden and the pressure. And so I'm sure, my wife is always telling me thank you for helping her family and helping her sister and brother and stuff. So she's really thankful for that, and that I'm a real dad to her son. And I really, that's something that I got blessed in. I'm really connected to him because I feel like he's my son for real, and he feels the same way about me, so I really got blessed.
So that's why, guys, we share this, so we share this kind of story so you don't shock about the cultures of Filipino cultures and American culture is very big difference. Once you choose the woman, you have also responsible to the family of the woman, especially that woman live poor, so they expecting also that you can give them a little bit of help for the mom, especially the mom is something, have a medical problem. But make sure, guys, the woman, they really love you deeply. If the woman, they really love you deeply, you can feel that through your heart, through the action.
Yeah. So beware of those 90-day fiancé women, because there's some that, they definitely out there for the money.
But not all of the fiancé woman that we just, baby.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up about the.
Okay.
So we still just dealing with what it is for an American man to go to the Philippines and find him a good woman, because the men here are tired mostly of the women here. We having so much problems. I went 17 years trying to find a wife, and I didn't have any good luck. So it's a trend now that we living in a dispensation of time where I think personally God is mixing us up more, and races are becoming one, and I think that a lot of men are wanting to go to the Philippines or other third world countries or other countries to find a wife. And we just want to tell you some of the things you got to look for. So what do you have to say, sweetheart, about it?
The man that what they're looking for. For me is the man is looking for another race, because they're looking forward that their wife is really loving them, respect them. The man is looking forward to honor them. So it might be seeking there in the third world country that woman is value the man.
Right.
Yeah, value the man. The most important is respect.
Right.
Honor the relationship. Being a loving wife.
Yes.
And the man is looking for that. So nowadays it's hard to find that the woman mostly is the one who run to the house. So some men get tired of that. They want to looking forward that going to another race, they can find a young and good one, and they respect them and they honor them.
Yeah.
So some of the guys or a foreign guy do that, but I don't know all of them. But only my true experience, because my husband do. So I just share the facts of about the foreign men, what they're looking for.
Okay, so I hope that this has helped somebody. We welcome any questions or comments that we might not be talking about. Ask us. We'll bring it up and we'll talk about it on our next blog.
Yeah.
And help you out much as we can, because there's so many things that we haven't told you about that just not coming to mind. So maybe you got some questions that help us bring it out of our minds, because boy, we got a whole bunch of stories to share with you that led to us.
And we will glad, guys, that you're spending time and listening to our story and our experience.
Yeah, thank you.
And we are really thank you, and we really honor all those that some questions that they really ask, and you are really free to ask a question. We answer as we can, guys. We do our best to answer some of your questions, and we are really happy that you're really interesting of some of our stories.
Yeah, but please like and share us if you don't mind.
Yeah,
That's
and thank you so much, guys, for spending your time. We really, really appreciate all you, and I see you to the next blog, guys, and have a blessed day.